Hi, Papoose. Hope you're doing well during this time. I'm speaking for you today, and I want you to know it's a genuine pleasure, and I was very pleased that you asked me to. One of my greatest satisfactions as a teacher counselor is when a student has confidence in my instruction and also values my opinion. And Papoose, you are definitely one of those students. Today, I'm delighted to speak for you on this annual end of school year tradition, Senior Song Night, a day of celebration and encouragement to our departing seniors. And unfortunately, we can't be together to share this celebration, but it's good that I can connect with you remote. Earlier this year, Papoose asked me to escort him on Senior Night at the conclusion of the basketball season, but due to a family conflict, I was unable to honor his request. And today I hope that my words on this occasion will bless Papoose as he has blessed me with his trust, not just today and not just with this request, but throughout the year. Real relationships emerge when students share their life experiences and the beliefs and values they've developed over time. And this year especially offered me more time with Papoose since he was one of only 2 students in my 5th period college and career readiness class. Each day, Papoose came into the classroom with a big smile and a warm greeting, and he would always ask about my day, and regularly he would always inquire about my granddaughter, Ellie. And this really touched me, his interest in her, his concern, the questions he would ask. And this led to some thoughtful conversations between us about our life experiences, our responses to adversity, and our need to be steadfast and faithful to our callings. In the sharing of our personal histories, Papoose regularly surprised me with his keen insights into human nature and his intelligent mindfulness of social issues, moral dilemmas, and ethical choices. I quickly discovered that Papoose possesses the gift of discernment. He has a natural capacity to distinguish between what is true and what is false, and he has the strength of character to apply his convictions in all situations. He understands that accomplishments and disappointments equally contribute to personal growth. And I have observed this ability, this quality in Papoose in everything he does, in all areas, academic, extracurricular, sports. He's consistently demonstrated the ability to make sense out of life experiences, to learn from a situation, and to maintain his integrity. His response to success is thankfulness, and his response to setbacks is acceptance. He understands that there are many paths to one destination, and he is always conscious of what is right and what is wrong. Papoose, today I want to thank you for your confidence in me, and I just advise you to continue to choose wisely and commit wholeheartedly to your path. I chose this scripture for you. I thought of you a lot, especially when I think about that quality, that discernment that you possess. Proverbs 3:21. My son, preserve sound judgment and discernment. Do not let them out of your sight. In closing, Papoose, I just want to congratulate you. You've had a stellar school year, and I wish you many, many good things for your future, and I hope to see you real soon.
Ebenezer Shibiru, what a pleasure to talk about you. But as you can tell, I've got only about 5 minutes, so when that runs out, I better be done. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. So in the meantime, Ebenezer, I want to start off with the significance of your name. That is in 1 Samuel chapter 7, down here at verse 12. Then the judge Samuel took a stone and set it between Mizpah and Jeshanah, and called the name of it Ebenezer, which means stone of help, saying, heretofore the Lord has helped us. You are to be a man of help. 1 Corinthians 5, you are to be a man reconciling the sinner to the Christ. Ebenezer, you are to be that man of help, that stone. And that stone is Jesus, and that is your foundation for life. Now, I want to tell you something else. when you get into your living and all that, when you do unto the Lord, you're going to be in all sorts of other areas of life. What are you going to do with it? I want to challenge you with this one. It says, Psalm 91, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. That's the secret. What is the foundation? What is the foundation, Ebenezer? And now let me tell you a fun thing that I remember about you. And that was you and Mikias, when you would hide in the hall at night, wherever you would hide, and you'd be that making that funny noise with my name, how you'd call me, and I would not know where you were hiding. And then that one day that I was walking out my other door and got to see where you two were hiding, thinking I was in this side where my office is. So I got to watch the two of you on the floor doing your little sounds and routines, and it was quite good. I like that memory. Thanks very much. But I said I'd be having somebody else help me talk to you. So, and you didn't know who their name was, and I said, well, you won't know their name. And that's because it's Mr. Anatomy Man, if you wish. So, as you know, here's what we got. Now, why this man? Okay, we never get to the nervous system, so I never could talk about the brain. So when we talk about the brain, I thought I'd give you a fast little anatomy lesson. All right, now here's the cool thing. Right here, we'll put it right here. Right here, you'll see number 8. This is your corpus callosum. So what's significant about that? Well, that's where the brain and the right side and the left side connect to each other. You have, and we don't know why for sure, but you have the one side of the brain controlling the other side of the body, and then the other side of the brain controlling the other side of the body. Why? We don't know for sure, but it's most interesting, and the corpus callosum is where they connect and get it to work marvelously well. All right, so what does that mean? You cannot be two-minded. You cannot be two-minded in life. You have to have a focus. You have to know, what are you going to do? What's life all about? And that life is all about, you're going to be with the Lord. That life is all about, you're here just for a while. And that life is all about Jesus Christ, not about you. You've got to focus. You've got to stay focused, Ebenezer. And that's what I want you to understand. Now, for that one, I want to just direct you. You always act about books. A Call to Die by David Nasser. What's interesting about that book, he's a man that's a Christian, but lost people in the Middle East before he was able to get out. You see, he knows what it's like to have martyrdom in his family or in his friends, or life's going to get tough, Ebenezer. I want you to be very much a man of God. I want you to be very strong in the faith, and I want you to really focus on the sincerity of what life is all about. It's a gift of God. It's very critical that you walk faithfully. Now, we're not done. You had to go on. See, we still have just about a minute yet. Okay, here's where we're going. I want you to see this part. This is Hebrews. It says, therefore, since we have so great a cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us also lay aside every encumbrance and the sin which so easily entangles us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. And fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. Son, I want you to know this. You have 2 books with you. One, and they're both foundational. One is giving you a foundation to neuroscience. It's called anatomy. The other one, it's a secret between us. It's foundational to Bible and to science, and to show you why the science of the Bible is far superior to what mankind has today, but it obliterates evolution foundationally. That's what I want you to know. Where you are in Jesus Christ, the author and finisher of your faith, who endured the cross, death, persecution, for the joy set before him. Ebenezer, this world's coming down quickly. It's going to come down in your lifetime. You got to stay faithful. I want to challenge you to that faithfulness to the Lord, and I want you to endure it. And Jesus said, he who is faithful unto death shall receive the crown of life. And that, my son, is absolutely the purpose of life. Living for the glory of the Lord, allowing ourselves to not consider ourselves, but allowing the Lord to live through us in all areas and having his free will through his Spirit through us. Don't quench it. Let him live freely through us. Ebenezer, love you, son, so much. I want you to do so marvelously well. And my time is up. I apologize. Love you, son. Bye-bye.
Hello, Mikius. I guess you're wondering why I'm standing in the bathroom in front of a mirror. You know, you and I have talked a whole lot in the last 700 years. I guess the last 6 years. Mostly the last 3 years. And, you know, when I think of you, on the surface, of course, I think of the many different angles you think about something. And so if you look over my right shoulder, you'll see about, 3 more shoulders behind me. All sorts of angles to look at something. You really want to understand the world around you. And as you've grown, you definitely are wanting to understand God. I applaud all of this. I'm extremely proud of you. I have a great love for you. As you go on through life, remember that your mind and understanding can be limited if it's not led by His Spirit. And that His Spirit, the Holy Spirit, transcends. It's above. He's above our thinking. Practical way that you and I've talked about before in dealing with this reality in life has been, as we've worked on something, you'll think about it, you'll read the directions, you'll concentrate on it very deeply. And then sometimes someone might have to come by and say, hey, just get started. Take the first step. So my encouragement in life for you is this. Go. Think about the things God allows you to put your mind to, as we've talked many times. And when it comes to the practical application of that, give yourself 15 minutes. And if you haven't got a good solution in mind, go ahead and get started. Just start working, and your mind will catch up. Remember, our heart, our soul, our mind, and strength are all merely tools. And whom they are submitted to is whom they will serve. Many nations have risen and fallen based on decisions made in humanism, as opposed to decisions being made as human beings based on a principle. God's principle. Now, I know you'll probably enjoy that because that's the way you think too, and I really appreciate that about you. Mikius, congratulations. You are graduating. Just remember, don't think for God. Surrender your mind to God and let Him point you in the direction. He loves you. I love you. Keep going.
I am talking for Emmanuel John. That's a great kid. Wow. If you have not had the privilege to just get to know him, sorry, you missed something amazing. The first time I officially kind of sort of remember really talking to Emmanuel John was shortly after he had come to Mount Mission School. I do believe it was Christmas break, and we all went out to eat at McDonald's. And we were sitting down to eat, and I sat down beside Emmanuel John. And I do believe he was 13 years old at the time. And I can still remember the exact table we sat at McDonald's, right here in Grundy. Do you remember that time? Remember when we could go into restaurants and sit down and eat with people? And like sit, like they could actually sit like right beside you. Do you remember that? Joke. Anyways, he and I went into McDonald's, and I sat down beside him, and we were eating hamburgers and french fries, drinking our drinks, whatever. And he and I started talking. And oh man, I like that kid. And he told me that this is his first time eating a McDonald's hamburger. I said, really? I said, that's so cool that I got to experience that with him. His first time to eat at McDonald's and a McDonald's hamburger. And I asked him what he thought about it, and he said, it was okay, And I started asking about why he could speak English so well compared to the other Tanzanian children. No offense for the rest of y'all, but Emmanuel John, let's be honest, did speak the best English when y'all came. And he told me it was because he liked to read, and he liked to read as many books as he could. And I said, that's good. Keep reading. That's a good thing to read. Obviously, give him the teacher answer, Please, yes, read. That's good. And he told me that he enjoyed also working at a store, I do believe, with his family in Tanzania. And he would do the sign at the store. He would write things on the sign that whatever the store was going on. And so I just remember sitting there thinking, this is a really cool kid. I loved talking to him. He told me about his family and his siblings and all that. Speaking about family and siblings, you can probably hear my children in the background as I make this video, because this is a very unique experience for the senior class this year, because I am making this video for you in my house, which I've never done before for any senior I spoke to. So excuse the background noise as my children are back living in my house with me, because we're all quarantined, so we're all here together. But nonetheless, back to Manuel John. When I left McDonald's that day, I can remember thinking, man, I want to get to know that kid more. But of course, I lived in Hurley Hall. He lived in Parker Hall. I teach elementary school. At that point, he was a squire going to move up to become a knight. So I obviously did not have much contact with him. But when I would see him out in the playground, I always say hello to him or smile at him. Then comes his senior year. Mr. Peters and I bought a house this past year, right here in Grundy. Go figure what God does. And I needed someone to help me out in my house. Someone who was dependable, someone who was stronger, someone who could be trusted to even go in there and work on their own. And Emmanuel John's name came up several times through different staff members that this would be a great choice of someone to pick. So I went to Emmanuel John, and I asked him if he would be willing to help us out. And of course he said yes, which is something I love about Emmanuel John. He's not afraid of work. Matter of fact, he's a great worker. He's a hard worker. Emmanuel John, that's, one of your great qualities. Never be afraid of work. Never. When someone says work, even though it's a 4-letter word, it's not a bad word. I promise. Trust me. Get out there and work. Man, you don't run and hide when someone says that word. You don't duck out suddenly behind the door and think, oh, no one will see me, that there's work. No, you don't run from work. You run to work. That's a great thing about you. Always have that strong work ethic. And not only do you have a strong work ethic, you're a great worker. There were things that I had asked you to do, and not only did you do them, you did them better than I ever expected them. Crazy amazing. You worked above and beyond what I asked of you. If I would have asked you, could you please go down there and rake those leaves? Not only would you have raked the leaves, you would have put them in a pile, you would have disposed of the leaves, and you also would have got all the edges and any extra leaves there were. You have a great gift in that. Always, always hang on to that gift. God gave that to you. That first of all, the ability to work is a great gift. And you're strong. You're very strong. You would carry things that I'm thinking, ain't gonna happen. You have to get a helper, and there you are. I would think, it's gonna take 2 or 3 of you to do that, and you would do it. You could build things that you may have never tried before. You were willing to try. I like that about you. You're not afraid of new things. You'll do it. That's part of being young. Hang on to that. Your ability to work, your ability to do new things, your ability to study and learn, these are good things. They're amazing things about you. You are not lazy. Oh, man, I love that about you. You run circles around me. I love that. Never become lazy. Always find something. There's always something you can do and always work. It's a good thing. I see so much in you, so much amazing potential that God's going to take and use you in such amazing and great ways. He is, oh my goodness. I wish you could stay close and I could watch you grow more. The only thing I don't like about our relationship is that you're leaving. I don't like it that you're leaving and I didn't get a chance to know you better. I don't like it that I just started to get to know you. And now you're leaving. God had a purpose for that, I know. Always. Always has a purpose for everything he does. His timing is never wrong. And remember that too. His timing is always right. But I want you to know something. There's a little brick house right down here across from Mount Mission School. And that house is your house too. Okay? Anytime you need to come, come. We have a guest room. Well, we will when it's fixed up. We'll have a guest room, always ready for you. Guest room, nah. We'll have a room ready for you. A room. And of course, there'll be work that you can come and do. Because there's always work you can do at my house. You know that. I'm sure there'll be something that needs cleaned, or painted, or fixed, or built, or raked, or shoveled. You know that. Come. I have a verse for you before I let you go. A verse. It's from 1 Timothy. And as you know, Paul writes to Timothy, who was a young man, a young Christian man, who was ready to serve our Lord. Kind of like you, ready to step out there. Serve him, Emmanuel John. Serve him. You have the gift of service. That's in you. God gave you that gift. Use that gift of service he gave you. Use it. Here's the verse. First Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in life, in love, in faith, and in purity. 1 Timothy 4, verse 12. Look at this. It says, set an example. Don't let people look down on you because you're young. No. Set the example, and you are an example. In speech, guard your tongue. Be careful what it says. And you seem to do a good job at that from what I've encountered. In your life, the way you live. Keep serving. In love, the way you love people. Don't ever be afraid to love people. Don't you ever be afraid to love. Love people. In faith, stand up for Jesus. He'll always be there for you. Stand up for him. Never be ashamed of him. In purity. It's a hard one, huh? Purity. Guard your heart. Guard your heart, Emmanuel John. And as soon as sin enters and that temptation's there, fight it. Fight it with all you got. Anytime you need me, text me, call me, come. Mr. Peters and I always have a home open for you. Always. We love you. You're ours. And if nothing else, at least invite us to your wedding one day, okay? We love you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Take care, my dear friend.
Hey, sweet girl. It's Mrs. Ferrante here. Yeah, your senior night. Doesn't really look like what we thought it would look, but that's okay because Jesus is still good. So I was thinking about your video, and I was thinking about what I wanted to say to you, and then I read what I wrote to you back when you left, and honestly, there isn't much I would change. So I'm going to read it to you again, and I hope you hold on to these words and treasure them when you're sad, and make you smile even more when you're happy. I love you with all my heart, kiddo. You ready? Here we go. Jasmine, when I think about how long you've been in my life, I didn't think it would be possible to love you more today than I did 10 years ago. But I think I just might. You came to us as this sweet, innocent, and scared little girl. You're still sweet. You're still so innocent. But scared? Nope, that's not you anymore. Life has given you lots of adventures. Some good, some not so good. But you know now that there's no reason to fear anymore. because you know the one who has defeated fear. Jasmine, my prayer for you is that you take him with you. You were made for greatness, and God does such a beautiful plan for you. It's been an honor to experience and watch you grow up. I love you like you are my own. As I've gotten a front row seat into your life, you've also gotten a front row into mine. If you're ever in a spot where you forget, even just for a second, of his ultimate goodness, I pray that you remember the moments you have seen up close and personal. He is good, and he will give you everything that you need. He hears your prayers, and he gives you everything you need. Remember my wedding day? Yep, that was Jesus answering a 34-year-old long prayer. He answers our prayers and gives us more than we could ever think to ask for. You don't need me to tell you that life also has those moments that are sad and sometimes devastating. You have felt those moments. Even right now, you're feeling one too. But promise me, sweet girl, that you will remember this. Even in our sadness, even in our despair, he is still so very good. And he will hold you in those moments. The day I wrote this was Good Friday. And it was the day we remember the death of our Jesus. But Jasmine, always remember that Sunday always comes. God has given me the opportunity to take care of and love lots of children in the last 16 years. My beautiful Jasmine, know this. You are like a daughter to me, and I am beyond proud of you, and I love you with all of my heart. If you ever need anything, I promise you that Mr. Ferrante and I will do all that we can to make sure you have it. We are always a phone call away. And your graduation present, as soon as this global pandemic is over and we're allowed to go to the bank and go to the post office, your present will be in the mail. I love you with all of my heart, and I'm so proud of you, and I miss you so much. And while I'm sad that we lost some time together, I know that your future is so good and so bright, and I can't wait to watch it, even from a distance now. I love you, and I'm so proud of you. Take care, sweet baby.
I'm speaking for Joyce Cha-Cha. Joyce, your life has been a life of several firsts that I know of. First of all, you came to a country where you had never set foot before. It must have been very strange and terrifying. Here you had to learn a new language, adapt to a new culture, and begin your schooling in the mountains of Grundy, Virginia. The pressure was on for you because you will be the first in your biological family to attend college. You have struggled with tenacity, and you have certainly been successful. Not only that, but you are one of the first of our wonderful Tanzanian kids to graduate from Mountain Mission School. With that in mind, I'd like to give you a few points of advice before you spread your wings and fly away from us. First of all, continue to work with tenacity. Don't be afraid to do the work that seems insignificant and trivial. Be faithful to the little things so that you can be faithful to the bigger things in life. Understand that as you live, there will be times when you feel like you've failed. This happens to anyone who makes an effort and steps out of their comfort zone. These times are merely training grounds that will teach you good lessons and will make you stronger. Never give up. And don't compare yourself with others. This is a problem for so many people. Be Joyce Cha-Cha with all her unique strengths and talents. With the Lord's help, you can sparkle in a way that nobody else can. Be careful to weigh the consequences of your choices. Look ahead. Don't become enslaved by what the world has to offer. Opportunities to sin will be in your face. Sin offers short-term pleasure, but then the trap snaps on you and you pay a heavy price. Choose your friends wisely. Be careful who you date. Guard your heart. Use your time in ways that will benefit you and not in wasteful ways. Stay connected to the Lord and His people. It's much easier to make wise decisions when His Word is in the forefront of your heart and your mind. And lastly, understand that your calling and reason for living is to love and serve the Lord. Notice I've said that before to other students on Senior Song Night. That's because that is the reason we all live. So go forth doing everything with your best effort as unto the Lord. And know that you are loved and cherished and valued by Him and by all of us who are your MMS family. God bless.
Hey, this is for Daniel K. I believe the K is for Kafini. I just want to tell you, Daniel, that I've enjoyed having you in class. You're a very personable young man, and I hope you find a niche where you can fit in and use your personality, because it's outgoing and it makes people feel at ease, and you're friendly to boot that. And I can't believe that you got high enough to dunk. I know it's been one of your lifelong dreams, and by grab, you did it. When I saw it the first time, I said, he just dunked that ball. And that'll all be a lesson to you, Daniel. Don't give up on what you want to do, and make it count for for God. I said the same thing about Emmanuel. I think it's really important for you to find out what you're going to do and make sure it glorifies the one that you've been taught about and accepted. And all the luck to you in the world. Just study hard and go after it. And keep dunking. See you, bud. Well, this is the second time I've done this, because I did it the first time and it didn't record because I didn't get the square on there. So here you go, Emmanuel. I feel like you're one of my sons, and I've enjoyed having you in class. One of the things I noticed about you is your willingness to help. You just need a little bit of confidence that you can do the job no matter what's put in front of you, because God has really been gracious with you and what He's given you. And don't worry about not being able to do it, because you got the tools to do anything you want to. And if you weren't already taken, I'd take you on as a son, because you have impressed me that much. Study hard. Look for what God wants you to do, and keep helping people, and you'll make it. Don't worry about not making it. You're going to make it. Just study hard and do it the right way, and let God give you the confidence that only comes from Him, and you're going to be just fine. Oh, by the way, it's Milligan. See you, buddy.
Hey guys, so I get a chance to talk for David this year. I remember David from when he was still at Tyler Hall and I was in high school. Wow, I was in high school, that's crazy. That was a long time ago. But so my best memories are from this past year when I got to know him a little bit better. I had him for a class for about 2 months because the virus happened, and yeah. And I was also his class sponsor, and we got to hang out a lot and pick up basketball. And so whenever we did get to play basketball in the gym, he was often he was my teammate, and we were great teammates. And we'd always dominate Papus's team. And yes, Papus, don't try to lie, it's true. Now, except when he's when he's being whipped and he had to talk to Sarah outside, so he comes in late, then he loses the opportunity to play with me, and he get the chance to feel the agony of defeat with Papoose, and so I enjoy doing that as well. And Juju is also going to miss you coming down for soup and playing hide and seek with her. She got to she got to get to know you a little bit more, and I think by the end she was liking you, so she's definitely gonna miss you. Um, my advice for you as you head into college is to raise the rim. There's this sermon by Michael Todd that I want you all to look up. It's on YouTube. All right, David, not TikTok, but YouTube. Okay, just making sure you know, since you spend your time on TikTok. All right. Anyways, so it's called Raise the Rim, and in it he uses basketball to talk about the danger of feeling like you're doing awesome, but playing at a lower level. When you were at Tyler Hall, you may have been the MVP on that tiny hoop that Kai and his friends play with. But by Parker 1, you had to shoot on a much bigger hoop. By the time you got to middle school, you may have thought you were a baller. Yeah, right. But you may have thought that, but that was before you made varsity. At every step, you couldn't settle for feeling like you had made it on a lower level. You had to challenge yourself to keep getting better. So in life, don't settle for living at a level of the bare minimum. Keep challenging yourself. Keep raising the rim. And don't quit. Look to the teammates and coaches God has given you in life to help you keep getting better. Hebrews 12:1 and 2 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith." Well, David, good luck. Good luck for next year, and want you to know that we love you, and come visit us. And Juju will be waiting for you if she still remembers you. But you can always call, and that way Juju will always remember you. All right, we love you. Bye.
Huh. This is different. I've spoken for many seniors, but I don't believe I've ever recorded one of them that they would hold on to for many years to come. That makes you unique. And there's lots of unique things about this class this year, beyond the virus. I speak for Sarah. Sarah. I love Sarah. Many years ago, probably 15 years ago, I had a boy who lived on Parker 2 with me, who was Sarah's older brother. His name was Israel. And he lived with me for 2 or 3 years on Parker 2. And then, of course, he moved to Parker 3. And as time goes by, left Mountain Mission School and went out and started his life on his own. And he called me one day. And he called me and he told me he had 3 younger siblings who he'd love to get to Mountain Mission School. And those younger siblings, of course, were Benyam and Sarah and Solomon. And he wanted to know how he could get them here. And I directed him, of course, as you do, a staff to the president at the time. And sure enough, about a month or 2 later, Sarah and Solomon and Benyam show up in Mountain Mission School. I was living on Hurley 1 at that time. And this cute little girl comes to my door carrying her little luggage, smiling at me shyly. And I liked her right away. It ended up being Sarah, of course. And she comes into Hurley 1. And we were unpacking her, and she's the sassiest little thing with her little hands on her hips, walking around all sassy. And you know what? I liked her immediately. She was brave. Probably didn't even weigh 50 pounds. But boy, you could feel the braveness in her. She was solid. Sarah is definitely not emotional. She definitely is steady. She definitely is very, what's the word? Very stable. She's not afraid to tell you what she thinks if she needs to. But she has a class to her. She's very classy on another level. She has an elegance to her. It's hard to imagine you could be such a great balance there that she is. I watched her grow up in Hurley One. We went on many trips together. We went to Gatlinburg together, actually. We all played in a cabin there, and we saw a circus. That was kind of fun. She lived on Hurley One. We went to Christian Acres, had some fun pool parties, spent the night up there. Went and heard Mr. Peters preach many times. I can remember on the evenings here on the hall, well, after showers and stuff, I'd be sitting on the couch watching TV, watching Disney Channel, of course. We do live on Hurley One. And the little girl, little Sarah, she'd come in and snuggle in beside me, and her and I would sit on the couch together and watch TV. And at that time, many times my girls, the older ones who are just like fifth graders, they would come in and they actually would sit beside me and rub my feet. And and Sarah would put her little feet up there, and we'd have our little foot massages done in the evenings. It was pretty fun. But as all little girls do, Sarah grew. And she grew. And she grew. And she grew out of Hurley One. And she moved to Hurley Two, which is a great rite of passage. And she moved up to Hurley Two, and she lived up there for several years. And her and I would still talk. And she would still pass me along the way. And we would laugh together or just ask her how her day's gone and have small talk. And then a few years ago, Sarah decided to come back and be a Hurley One girl again. Because you know you love me, Sarah. You know you do. And she came back to live with us. And I got to watch her again up close, growing and maturing. And that little girl who lived with me, that cute little second grade sassy thing, she grew. She became a fine lady. And she'd come in my house, and her and I'd have talks. She would sit at the counter, and I'd be working in the kitchen, and we would talk about things. And Sarah, you remember the time we talked about prayer? Always remember that, Sarah. Don't you ever forget to pray. Don't you ever stop praying. Even if you feel like he's not listening or he's not answering the way you want it, he is. He's listening. He's still there. Keep praying. Don't ever stop praying. Please never stop praying. God has special plans for you. He has big plans for you. There's a uniqueness in you that no one else will have. You have a special strength to you. You have a special levelness, maybe, lack of a better word. You have, so many things going for you. Obviously, physically, you're beautiful. But that's not your greatest strength. Your greatest strength is your mind and your heart. Your greatest strength is Jesus still inside you. The day you chose him as your Lord and Savior, that was the greatest day of your life. Hang on to him. Cling to him. Never, never let him go. In him is truth. In him is hope. In him is eternal life. He's done it all. All good things come from him. I have a passage I wanted to read you. I know it's a common passage. Many people read, the seniors, but so might as well read it. Got to have something normal, maybe, for your graduation. Let's share this passage. Okay, I'm going to turn so you can see. I got to look at my Bible. Sorry, I got up close and personal, didn't I? Hold on here. Let's read the Bible. I don't do videos well, by the way. But okay, here we go. Acts. No, not Acts. Jeremiah. So I can read. Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11, 12, 13, and 14. I'm going to do all of them, baby. For I know the plans I have for you. I say this with me, right? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Here we go. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Do you remember in your room here on Hurley One and you put a big X on the month of June and you said the worst summer ever? It's not even June yet. It's not. It's not even summer. It's still April. You should still be in school, technically. You do know that. You should still be in school. You should still be here taking your test. You should still be getting ready for prom, getting ready for class night, planning senior song night, ha ha ha. You should be doing all those things still. But God has a different plan. Not a bad plan, a different plan, a good plan. Because God does all good things. A hope and a future. Let's keep reading. Then you who are called upon me and come to pray to me, there it is, Sarah. You are called by him. Pray to him, and I will listen to you. Told you, he listens. And I'm not saying that God's word is. Okay, verse 13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your, finish it, heart. There it is. Guard your heart, Sarah. Seek him above all things. There's your answer. Seek him. Then he says, I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and you will bring you back from captivity. Seek him. He wants to be found by you. He wants to be your father. He wants to love you. He wants you to follow him. Now, I look at my little time thing, and I've talked to you over 8 minutes. Ooh, I don't know if there's a time thing. In the past, by now, I would have been cut off and told to get off the stage. But look how cool this is. I can keep talking. I don't know. Maybe Mr. McConan's going to cut this video off. I don't really know. I don't think I've ever been allowed to talk this long ever to a senior on these nights. Look at that, 8:50. I can talk to you for 8 more seconds and I will be at 9 whole minutes. Woo! This is the longest I've ever talked to any senior on this night. Look, Sarah, this is different. This is unique. This is because you are unique and wonderful. I love you. I'll always love you. You'll always be my Hurley One girl. Mountain Mission School will always be your home. Never believe otherwise. Come home. Always come home to us. No matter what, come home to us. Always. Love you so much. I wish you the best.